Kia ora e te whānau. I'm Kit Hinden, and this is the Rural NZ webinar on AI. Welcome, everybody. This is going to be very interactive. So if you've never touched AI, or maybe you've already started your love affair with it, you are going to get an opportunity to try out some prompts and maybe explore something new. So buckle in. There will be an opportunity to ask some questions when we come back from the breakout rooms, and there'll be a Q&A at the end. So note down any questions that come up for you. So let's get into it. Now, AI isn't just a cool piece of technology. It really is an absolute game changer for small business and for all sorts of things in addition to business. But basically, it's like hiring a team of assistants, researchers, strategists, a life coach, a business coach, except they're all rolled into one. They're talking to one another. They're available 24/7, and they charge $20 a month all up. So it's a pretty important tool in your business toolkit, I'll say that. So what used to take hours, things like drafting social posts, summarizing competitive research, brainstorming product ideas, they can all just take minutes now. So it's not going to replace your thinking. Like, you still need to be there with your ideas, but it is going to supercharge it. So if you're feeling stuck staring at a blank page, AI is a really great place to start. It can help you get you out of your head and make a start. And it's not just for writing. You can use AI to help you spot gaps in your business, test assumptions, map customer journeys, and it can be a really great sounding board. It can also help you gather and make sense of information. So you don't have to read that whole research paper. You don't have to read that whole resume. AI can look at all of that for you, summarize it, and get on with it. So we're going to explore some of what AI can help you do. Ines, did I start too early?
No. You started on time. I was a little bit late.
Do I need to hand back to you for a moment?
No, away you go.
Awesome. So we're going to explore some of what AI can help you do. So Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT, and loads of other advanced language models, they are designed to generate that human-like text based on the input it receives. So it's really important what you're putting into it. Here are three different AIs that you can choose from, and there's so many more, but I can't fit them all on one page. So here are some of the top ones that are used. I have recently moved to using Claude instead of ChatGPT for a few reasons. Now, Claude was actually founded by former ChatGPT employees who left because they were worried that ChatGPT or OpenAI was moving too fast without enough of a focus on safety. And safety is genuinely kind of central to how Claude is run. It's also better at saying, I don't know, rather than kind of confidently making things up, which you may have heard is a bit of a problem with some AI. And ChatGPT does have a reputation for sounding confident, even when it's wrong. Claude can also handle long documents and conversations without losing track, which is really useful for things like reading entire reports or long website content. And a lot of writers consider that it's more of a natural sounding voice and less kind of AI-ish. So, but you don't have to use Claude. You can use anything you want. I use Claude. Go and have a play at different ones and see what works for you. So as I mentioned earlier, it's very powerful, but only if you use it well. So we're going to be exploring some prompts to ask the right questions, to challenge your assumptions, and to simplify some of those complex tasks. So some of the things it can do: conversation and engagement, great for that. Content creation, which is a real game changer, particularly if you're writing things like website copy or social posts. Data processing and analysis, another great business tool. And you can customize it and train it to know you better. And we'll dig into that a little bit later in the webinar. So conversation and engagement. So a example prompt might be, what's a good name for a product I'm developing? It's wool insulation panels. That's all I've plugged into AI. And this is what I got back. First, it's going to give me a little story. Hey, naming a product is about finding the sweet spot between this sounds high-end and I know exactly what this does. Since you're working with wool, a material that's naturally fire-resistant, moisture-wicking, and sustainable, you have some great angles to play with. And then you can see, I mean, this, I've only put a little bit of what came back, but it's already given us lots of cool ideas for the name of this product. So that was a really simple prompt, and it instantly gave me that back without any other information that I fed into it. So I'd like everyone now, whether you've used AI before or not, to pick a platform. Can be one of these three, or it can be a different one if you use it, and just have a play. Ask a question, find out about something, just a simple prompt. If you've never done it before, you're going to go into a breakout room with 3 or 4 other people. As long as one person's got another browser window open up one of these links, claude.ai, chat.openai.com, gemini.google.com, and ask a question and give it a go. So let's move on, and then we'll get another chance to play shortly. So one of the other things that AI is really awesome for is content creation. So it can assist with helping you write your social media posts, your emails, marketing copy, creative writing even. So here's an example of a prompt that I may, with my imaginary wool insulation business, write. So please write an introductory paragraph for my website featuring wool acoustic panels. Mention that the panels help with privacy, better video calls, and they're environmentally friendly and sustainable. So let's see what AI came up with. This is what it said. Welcome to the future of sound design, where high-performance acoustics meet the natural world. Our wool insulation panels are engineered to transform your environment, providing the ultimate privacy and crystal clear audio quality essential for today's professional video calls. And it goes on. And then it'll often say at the end, would you like me to draft a features and benefits section to go right below this? So it's kind of thinking about what else you might want. And you can say, yes, please go ahead. Or you can say, no, thank you. So that was the first draft that it gave me. Now, sometimes I've talked to people who have used AI, and the first thing that's come back they haven't liked, and they've said, well, it doesn't work. But AI is a bit like having a personal assistant that's very eager. If you hire a personal assistant and on day one you say, go write me a proposal, and that's all you say, it's probably not going to come back with anything that awesome, because it needs to be trained. You need to tell it all about you, what the proposal's for, what the outcomes are, other useful details. So the more you give it, the better it will get. So it really needs for you to come back and say, hey, actually tweak it like this, tweak it like this. So the backup prompt that I've said is make the intro paragraph half the length and use more casual style. Also, I'm in New Zealand, so integrate some cultural language. So it says it's going to do it. And here is the casual version. Upgrade your space with acoustic panels that actually have a soul. Perfect for keeping your yarns private and making sure your Zoom calls sound choice. Our wool panels kill the echo without costing the earth. Sustainably sourced, naturally tough. They're a bit of local goodness for a quieter, more focused whare. So it's pretty awesome. It's managed to integrate all of these different things that we've asked for. It made it shorter. It made it more New Zealand, had a Kiwi feel. The first time that I did it, it didn't use the word whare, but it mentioned that it had integrated it. And so this is one of the things to watch out for. Sometimes it says it's going to do something and then it doesn't actually do it. And you need to be really careful. Claude doesn't do this so much, but this was actually generated through Gemini. Not that I'm saying Gemini does it all the time. You just have to watch out. So it's a really useful personal assistant, but you're not going to let the personal assistant send that proposal without you looking over it first. So it's really good at what it does, but make sure that you're always checking the work. Don't just rely on AI doing it and send it without checking off, because it can make mistakes. We'll talk a little bit more about how to make sure that it doesn't do that in the future. So this is when I said, hey, you didn't include that. And it said, oh, you're totally right, I'm so sorry. And it gave me another chance. So expect that you might go back and forth saying, hey, tweak it a bit like that. Now make it more long or short, or include this kind of language, or you're going to work with it until it starts learning what you really want. And once you get to that point, then it can get really powerful. So we're going to talk about prompts, which is the thing that you put into AI, the words, in order to get back this really great content. And so writing a good prompt is where the real magic is. So the prompt is the message, the question that you give to AI in order to get that response that you're looking for. So a rookie prompt that you might start out with, create an article on LinkedIn about all acoustic panels. Not much information. If you're a real pro, you're going to write a prompt like this. I run an online retail business selling wool acoustic panels to professionals and apartment dwellers looking for sound, privacy, and quality. I want you to create a LinkedIn article for generating leads that focuses on the specific needs and pain points of my customers. But give me the outline first. Don't create the full thing. Focus on their objectives and how to overcome them. Much more detailed. You're giving it some context. So that's really important. So AI is your secret weapon if you know how to ask for what you need. It is like having a great assistant, a really trainable assistant, but the better the training and the instructions, the better the results that you're going to get. You can even start with this. I run an online business selling wall acoustic panels. I want to write a LinkedIn post. Ask me questions about my business and goals in order to write the best ever post. And then it will start asking you questions that you can then answer. So if you don't know what to do, you can ask AI to help you know what to do. So let's get on to the formula. Now, this is a guideline. You don't have to use this formula every single time, but I think it really helps you to write a powerful professional prompt. Goal, role, context, output, warning, examples. So let's break that down. The goal, for example, a fresh blog concept for my website targeting stay-at-home parents of kids under 5. The goal is to generate ideas that bring real engagement and leads. So you've made it really clear what the goal is. A role. Act like a senior creative strategist and content writer who has created successful blog and marketing content in the babies and kids space. So you're telling AI, imagine that you are this role. Give it some context. We want something that feels organic and human, but sells and creates engagement. Past blog posts were too polished and salesy, and they sounded automated and robotic. The output. Give me 3 punchy blog concepts, like personal stories, but made for maximum engagement. Include a hook and a call to action. Use British English, because most of these AIs will use American English if you don't tell it that you want it to be British English. Warning, don't use the word mummy or daddy. Avoid anything that sounds like it came from AI. Don't overuse hyphens or use emojis. So if I see lots of content that's got a lot of M dashes in it, I know that AI is probably written in it because we don't use a lot of M dashes naturally. Some examples. I really like the recent post from Babies and Parents called Carving Out Me Time While Your Under 5s Thrive, and then you can link to that article. So that's a way of breaking down that formula. Once you get your prompts really specific like that, then you start getting real gold coming back to you from AI. So you are a role, you're an expert, whatever. Here's my situation. I want to help with this goal. Give this to me as a bulleted list or a long form content or a short paragraph or a social post, avoiding doing these things. And here's an example that I liked. Now, you might not always have the example, you might not always have a warning, but the first things, I think they're really important to make sure that your prompts are really tailored. For example, you're my virtual business assistant. I run a handmade candle business called Glow & Co. I sell natural soy candles online and at markets, and my customers are mostly women aged 25 to 45 who care about sustainability and self-care. My brand is warm, earthy, and calming. I'm just getting started and I want help with naming, branding, content, and marketing. Where should we start? And then AI is likely going to say, great, okay, let's start with the name. And it will generate some ideas. So you can ask AI for a little bit of help. Here's all the information. I don't know where to start. You help me. And it will lead you through the process. Always remember you can ask AI to help. Another trick is asking it to assess itself. So after you get an initial response, then you say, score your own answer out of 100, and then list what would be needed to reach 100. Then you simply say, now give me the 100-point answer, and AI uses its own critique to self-correct, and it's going to get a much better response. So it's quite a good trick to make sure that you're getting more and more honed content without having to put heaps and heaps of time into it. And here's a practical example. How do I improve my website's SEO? It's pretty vague, pretty generic. Then you say, okay, rate this answer. It says 65 out of 100 because it lacks specifics around technical SEO. It doesn't address the local versus the national intent. It ignores content freshness signals. Then say, okay, give me the 100-point answer. And then you get a really golden answer. So there's a few tricks for writing prompts and for getting AI to assess itself because it's got that built-in logic. I mean, it seems silly that it can't just give us the best answer at first, but it's really useful for AI and it's part of how the technology works. So pick a platform, whichever one you've started on, and have a play with some of those different prompts. Try using the formula and see how much better your prompts can become. So are we all back?
Yep.
Awesome. So does anybody have any questions, or do they want to share something fun that they discovered or had a play with?
I just discovered I could actually use my iPad and go out somewhere.
Oh, awesome. That's useful.
But I just got to that point of being on the screen where I think I needed to register or for the AI. Yeah, like the Claude AI. It wanted me to know what kind of server I want to go through. So I still had the person from my room on the screen, plus I was doing that on my iPad. So
Great. Oh, well, that's useful.
who knew? You knew. I didn't know.
Did anyone have a play with one of those longer kind of formula prompts? Oh, yeah, someone's using it to see how it can improve. That's really awesome. Yeah, the funny thing is AI is better at evaluating quality than spontaneously producing quality. So it can say, here's something great, and then evaluate it and be like, it's actually not that great, and make it better. It's odd, but useful.
I didn't do it now, Kit, but I had it go over my website and do the SEO stuff we were talking about.
Oh,
So
awesome.
I'm gonna go back later and say, is this the best you can do?
Brilliant, brilliant. That's just the best you can do. Try harder.
Exactly.
And we had a go at making a prompt to make a homepage for my exotic cattle. And good old Georgina did that, and it came up. It took a while to generate, but it was amazing what it came up with.
That's
it was
awesome.
really good. So I'm super pleased.
That's great. I hope you're also starting to see just how much time you can save. Not that it necessarily is going to get it right the first time, but as far as just generating ideas, giving you a bit of a kick to start something if you're staring at a blank page and you're like, I don't even know where to begin. Sometimes AI producing something can give you an idea that's not necessarily in the idea, but you might be like, oh, well, I definitely don't want to say that, but now I know I want to say something else. So it really can be quite a game changer. But
I use it very simply, actually, Kit.
Yeah.
So I just put in, because we've got our Centennial Ball coming up, Gumboots and Glamour Ball, and said I want some headlines, and they're gold. They're really, really great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
awesome.
Yeah, lots of fun.
Good team. Okay, so let's move on to, I mean, I've probably used the word game changer too many times already, so I won't say that this is game changer, but something that can save even more time and give you even better answers. So the data processing and the analysis, so it can read through loads and loads of text. You can dump in an entire research paper. For example, this prompt, read through these 3 research papers, summarize all the findings that help tell the story about the impact of mental health on the rural sector. That's probably saved you 3 hours just there. If you even had the type of brain that can read long research papers and summarize them yourself. So that is something that can be super, super useful. Also, like website analytics, like analyze all these website analytics, heaps of useful stuff in there. But the real thing is here when you start to train AI and customize it. So I'm going to show you how you would do that if you were using Claude, because it's the one that I use. So I've got some screenshots here. So here where I log into Claude, this is the kind of the homepage. It says, how can I help you? And over here is a little box, a little folder box where I can set up a project. So I'm going to set up a project. I'm going to say new project. And I get to the screen, and here's where I can add some instructions and some files. And then every time I ask a question in this project, it's going to go back first and read all those instructions. So I don't have to tell it every single time. So into the files, I might drop things like my values, my mission, my purpose, my vision, brand identity and voice, my target customers, value proposition, customer feedback, research, SEO, keywords, like anything you can think of to do with your business that you've already created, you can dump those files in there. Then you're going to go to the instructions, and you might say something like, I'm going to be using this chat to create content and ideas for my business website, emails, social media. Please use British English. Keep the style informal but professional. My business is called Whisper Wool. I sell acoustic panels made from excess wool. It's based in New Zealand. We have 5 sizes of panels, 3 different grades for various application. My customers are professionals who work from home, small business, and people that live in apartments. Now, you could have done that with one prompt and then ask the question, or once you've loaded it into here, you just go into this project and say, write me a social media post, come up with some ideas for a new product, and it's going to go and look at all those files and read all those instructions before you do it. So you only have to do it once. It can be a game changer. Now, of course, this has kind of got to focus on small business, but you might have one, as I do, for health. I've put all of my dental records and all my blood test results and everything to do with my health in there. And sometimes I'll go in and say, what's this skin rash that I've got? Or, you know, what's the best diet for somebody of my age, or whatever it is. You might have one for parenting. You might have one for your, you know, mental health and well-being. AI can be a game changer. There's that word again, for not just business, but it can kind of help you in all different realms. So have a play with those projects. So once we've set that project up, all you need to do then is say, create a social media content calendar for a month. I'll be posting content on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, include these hashtags. You might even load that prompt back into your instructions once you've done this. And then you don't need to tell it all about your business and your customer profile and what kind of panels you sell or whatever, because it's already read that information. And then boom, social media content calendar for your business name, whatever it was. Week 1, Monday, here's the post, Wednesday, Friday, next week, Monday, video post, Wednesday, carousel, Friday, educational content, coming up with ideas for posting on social media. It's something I hear all the time from people. Oh, what do I do? It's so hard to come up with ideas, brain fog. AI is wonderful for that. And if it's not quite right, you know what to do. Tweak it, change it, try again, give it a bit more context. But that project button is such a useful thing to save you time. Takes a bit of time up front, put everything in there, but once you're up and running, it is absolutely golden. Now I'm kind of loading you with prompts and formulas, but this is one I came across online that I use, and I load it into the instructions into the project for all of my things. Follow this writing style. You should use clear, simple language, short, impactful sentences. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this is all the things that I want and don't want and everything it creates. Using British English, don't use M dashes. Avoid metaphors and cliches. Avoid constructions like not just this, but also this. And the reason I put this in is because at the beginning, this is the way that AI wrote a lot, and you could really tell writing that was written by AI. So I want it to sound natural and human. So that's the beginning. This is 3 pages of this prompt, but once you've got it in, you don't have to think about it again. You should always tell the truth. Never make up information, speculate, or guess. Base all statements on verifiable, factual, and up-to-date sources. Clearly cite the source of every claim. You get the idea. So this is going to help keep your information true, accurate. Doesn't mean that you should 100% rely on the fact that it's always going to do it, but hopefully this is going to really improve the chances that it's good. And you can always say to AI, can you back that claim up? Or please provide the link of where you got that information. Avoid fabricating facts, avoid answering if you're unsure, avoid giving misleading partial truths by leaving out relevant context. So this here, this truth profile that they call it, hopefully once you've got all that loaded into your project, it's going to give you some really crisp, accurate, valid data and information. So that's a really useful thing to just pop there into your project. And you can see if you weren't using your project, you wouldn't want to load all of this in every time. That would be a real hassle.
Now, Kit, sorry,
Please.
I've been somewhat preoccupied with trying to figure out how to use Zoom.
Sure.
So could you just remind me, are these prompts and these projects, are they only available in the paid version, or are they available in the free online browser?
So they are, if I can just go back, so I set up this this version here of Claude in a kind of incognito window or on other email address. I haven't paid anything. So I believe that it is, yes, available on the free version. How many projects can you set up on the free one? I'm not sure. You can either find out by trying to create lots of projects, or you can ask Claude, how many projects can I set up for free? So yeah, that is available on the free. If not, the price is about $20 a month, which when you compare that to the amount of time that you're going to save or what you'll be paying for a personal assistant or something, I think is worth it. And then you can just dump those prompts into your project.
Thank you.
So other things really useful for marketing, develop customer personas. Here it is just spitting out different customer personas for people for the wool insulation. And also you can just goof around and be silly. I asked it to write a poem about acoustic panels. In realms of din where echoes play and voices weave a tangled fray, silent hero takes its stand, a woven shield, a gentle hand. I'm not going to read the whole poem to you, but it's pretty good if you ever needed a bit of whimsy. So, quick recap before we go into Q&A. Give AI an identity, so act as if you are A. Give context, give relevant information. Start with some examples. So we're not going to do image generation just now. We're going to actually go into the Q&A. So take yourselves off mute. Anyone got a question? Hit me with it. Why do I use Claude? Well, I haven't used every single AI there is, but I used to use ChatGPT and I used Gemini for a while, and I've found that Claude is the best for the things that I'm using it for, which is content creation. It also helps me with coding, with search engine optimization. And I also just had some political, issues with ChatGPT and what it's kind of affiliated with. And, it started out as a not-for-profit and now it's very much gone the other way. But I also think Claude's just gives me better content. So that's why I use it. I'm in no way affiliated with Claude. I get no money for people who sign up for it.
Can you just, I'm having issues navigating this home screen with Claude. Would you be able to share, or could I share? It's asking me to do stuff with API keys. I wanted to use my API key before I go and hit up another subscription, because I've got like $25 worth of tokens in there.
It shouldn't be asking you if you're first signing up for anything to do with API keys.
I had to do an API key for it to connect with Visual Studio and Python when I was creating code.
Got you.
It was either that or sign up, and because I wasn't sure, because I'm already paying for ChatGPT, whether or not I should pay for both of them and just, dump one and keep the other.
Got you. I mean, I don't think if you just want to have a play with it, you need to bring any tokens in. So you should be able to maybe just open it in an incognito window, sign up with a different email address and have a little play. And then if you love it, sign up.
Yeah, I've just got the one email address and everything gets fired into it.
Got you.
I
actually don't know the answer to your question. You might have to ask AI.
Okay.
I'm not too sure about API keys. And
I did, and it just gave me a whole, it says direct API calls to make HTTP requests to Anthropic's API using your key. And I'm like, yeah, what?
Yeah.
That sounds to me like that's AI 2.0, the next webinar, rather than Intro 101.
Yeah. I might be able to help you offline, but it is also sounding a bit like, whoo, to me.
Okay.
If there's any way of sending something up with a different email address, but I would just avoid, but you should be able to just go into Claude without connecting any APIs or having any tokens or anything like that. Just have a play.
Thanks.
Sorry, I couldn't help more.
It's all good.
I'll have a quick whip through while we're waiting for the next question of some of the places that will help you with image generation, AI image generation. Again, there's heaps out there. This is not the 3, but these are the ones that I've had a play with. So FreePic I use a lot, Warmer and Ideogram. So this is the prompt: showcase wool acoustic panels on the walls of a modern office. And these are the 4 images that it has just made up for me. This was Ideogram. This is another one with Ideogram. This is Canva. A professional on a video call on their office at home has a lot of wool acoustic panels on the wall. So it did an okay job, but you can see when you get in close, the faces are a bit funny. This woman seems to have a picture of herself on the wall, which it's just decided. So sometimes funny things like that happen. And this one came from FreePic. So this was the most photorealistic. That was a pretty awesome one with the wool panels there. So also something to have a play with, and just remember that you can create lots of useful images using AI as well. We're not going to play around with images just now because we're running short on time.
Okay. And Kit, Lara's got a question. Do you use AI agents?
I don't actually. It's something that I haven't put time into playing around with because I've got too many other balls in the air, but I know that they're incredibly powerful, and I highly recommend going and having a play with them.
What is an AI agent?
So an AI agent is something that can kind of plug into different aspects of your other pieces of software and do stuff for you, I believe. But Lara, if you know a little bit more about it, by all means, take yourself off mute and give us a little bit of a rundown.
No further information to add there. I haven't played around with it myself, but it sounds like basically could have your own little team working consistently for you once you've got it set up and operating. I just have no idea what I'd set it to work for me yet.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. I tend to kind of figure things out as needs arise. I don't have a need so much to use agents. I have been approached for doing some kind of sales that way, but I think that, I don't know, for me there's a line with the sort of personal voice, and I don't like the idea that an AI agent is sending emails to my clients without me being there. It feels too sneaky at this point for me.
Awesome, thank you.
And Georgina has a question.
I'm not sure about the legal requirements for using AI images. It probably will depend on the platform you get them from, and there's probably a little bit of information when you download that image. But that's a great question to ask AI, and I'll do it right now, and we'll see what it says. Any other questions, folks?
And I apologise if anyone is trying to speak. I have been muting people because there was a little bit of an echo. So some of you may have been able to speak before and not now. So
I know New Zealand doesn't have any specific AI image legislation, but existing Copyright Act provisions apply. There's a lot of stuff about the US, which is not so much relevant. But fully AI generated images can't be copyrighted. So I think you're pretty free to go for it. The only restriction that you might come across is if it AI inadvertently includes some copyrighted works in the AI that you don't know about. Like if it puts a copyrighted picture in the background of an image, seems fairly unlikely. So I would say you're pretty safe to go for it. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Michelle. Claude has had 9 out of 10 attempts to compile data.
Oh, I asked it to drill down into some data, and it's just telling me that it's taking longer than usual, and it's on its 9th out of 10 attempts to pull the data together.
How big is the data?
It's population, and let's see, what did I ask it for? I asked it for population data on some unitary authorities.
Oh, so you haven't loaded data in and it's looking at it. You've asked it to go get it.
Yeah, and he's Claude. It says that I have everything I need for a thorough current analysis. Let me build an interactive comparison tool.
It's building a tool.
Apparently.
Have you come across that? Well, I will wait with bated breath. Hopefully it finishes within 4 minutes and you can tell us what's happened.
Thank you.
So I hope, and keep the questions coming in the next few minutes before we have to log off. But I hope that you have kind of seen the power that AI can give you, can kind of put in your hands. And also remember, like, you don't need to know everything. You just need to know what question to ask. So it's all about the power of your prompts and the questions that you're asking. And if you're stuck, you can always ask AI to help you. What question should I ask? This is what I want. Or you can ask AI to ask you questions. I want to have an amazing startup. These are my skills. Ask me some questions to figure out what my next move should be. So you don't have to have all the answers. You just have to have the right questions. That's the important thing.